This hit goes out to you, Mr. Wick.
I want to kill you. You want to kill him.
Go see the Baba Yaga.
I'm going to need a gun.
I am the most complete fighter in the world.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
Stick around. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Dodge this.
Welcome to Dodge This, Action Movies Unleashed, Season 2, Episode 4. Oh God, it's John Wick 4. My name is Simon Fielder. I'm coming to you hot through the internet, fibre optic cables from Amsterdam, the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. And joining me as ever from the United States of South London, it's my good friend Matthew Heighton.
Whoop, whoop. I don't know what that is. I just felt like you come in with such energy. I thought I'd go whoop, whoop.
Thank
and
you.
I hated it instantly.
Yeah, I don't want to say we should start again, but that's staying in, and I think we'll all learn an important lesson.
Oh, good. Good.
It's the episode that I've been waiting for this whole season, and I think we've both been waiting for since we saw the trailer last year.
Yeah.
We finally both went to see John Wick 4 in the cinema, but sadly not sitting next to each other.
Oh.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? It's still great.
Different countries. But before we get to that, we got to have a quick catch up. What have you been looking at with your eyes and ears outside of Podland?
I mean, I've been watching a lot of TV.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Film-wise, and podcast appropriate wise,
lovely.
I finally watched Zombieland 2 Double Tap.
I still haven't seen it.
It's on Netflix now.
Yeah, I've had it in the bank for so long. I just never got around to it.
Because I really like the first one, but I bloody love this.
Did you?
I really like how they do zombie films.
Oh, good. I love the first one, yeah.
I didn't realise this. It's been 10 years apart, those films. And he said, I can't remember the director's name, but he said he wanted to do another one, but probably would leave it another 10 years. So, yeah, I like that a lot.
Very smart,
yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Really lean, efficient, very silly, fun film.
I'm a big fan of the first one. And also that director who I'm going to look up now because it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, it's going to kill me as soon as you say it. This is a bit when I've said this before, when people listen to podcasts and they're screaming, I know this. Ruben Fleischer, of course, the director of Zombieland and Zombieland 2, didn't have to look it up and cut out that part. Great knowledge, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's directed some other stuff. I enjoyed his visual flourishes. And now that you've brought it up, I'm gonna make it my priority to finally get around to watching it.
I just think it's a really fun no-brainer of a film. And yeah, like you say, his visual flares for use of things like text and stuff like that to make something more dynamic. It's up there with James Gunn. I really like how they do it. I thought The Suicide Squad was the same. Really used its frames to its advantage. Great. And the other big action film that I saw, and I don't know how I missed this in the cinemas because it's huge, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Sure.
So,
of course. Yeah.
So great action sequences in it.
Is it good? Is it a good film?
Fun. It's fun. If I was a kid, I would absolutely go bananas on that. My niece, who is 4, loves it.
What if you were a 40-year-old man?
I had the right tingles of nostalgia to make it. I think it sits very plumb for me in the exact middle spot of a 3-star film.
Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really fun. I think they've done great with them both.
I mean, the fact that there is a sequel suggests the first one must have been relatively successful, right?
Yeah.
Is Jim Carrey in this one?
Yeah. And I really think Jim Carrey is on form in both of them.
They've pulled him out of retirement to be in 2 Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
Well, he said he's not going to act again, so I'm kind of hoping that a Robotnik is his last appearance.
That's it. That's his swan song, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Incredible scenes.
He puts in such a, like, I couldn't imagine anyone else.
Well, I mean, I'm
pulling
sure
off that role.
he's great in it. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Can't
Yeah.
doubt the Kerry, can you? I saw another great action movie called The Menu.
Oh, nice. Very action heavy.
Not too action-packed, actually.
Very good film, though.
Enjoyed it, yeah. It put me in mind of Triangle of Sadness.
Is it the same person?
No, I feel like it's just that sort of satirizing
I've
of
still never seen
modern
Triangle of Sadness.
life and tropes. Yeah. I think it set out to do a thing and it did it well. However, I did see it on the same day that I saw John Wick 4, so my barometer was all over the place. Yeah.
Very complimentary menu there.
I was just
actually.
very fizzy, so I was just very excited for the whole day.
I can't ever imagine doing a double bill. One, John Wick 4 is 3 hours,
I know.
and the menu's it's coming up to 2.
It wasn't my choice. It just so happened that the day I went to see John Wick 4, I also went round to someone's house where they were planning a movie night. So it was just like, I couldn't be like, hi guys, I just watched John Wick 4, so can we not? Is it all right if we don't? But it was very, very enjoyable. I liked it. Finished The Last of Us. I know I'm very late on this, but
Oh, so good.
so this will be the last time I talk about it on the podcast. Every episode. I'm like, I've watched one more episode. That's it. Now I'm done.
You never finished Thingy either, which upsets me. Cobra Kai.
I still didn't finish Cobra Kai season 2, but you said is the finest example of modern screen action ever captured.
Martial arts.
on
Yeah,
film.
for TV. For TV. I stand by that. I think it's up there.
Unbelievable.
The final fight sequence in Cobra Kai season
Maybe
2
I should just
is-
skip ahead so that we can finally
just watch
put
that.
this to rest.
It's so ridiculous. It's
Okay.
phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you call it ridiculous, I'm a bit more like, oh, I can imagine it being ridiculous.
It's so well done
All right.
for what it is as well.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stand by it.
Fair enough. One day I'll finish it. Anyway, Last of Us was great in it, and I did remember like how the first game ended. So I was like, oh, I wonder if it will be, and then it pretty much was. Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot how morally ambiguous
Yeah.
it is.
I'm going to say it as well. Didn't like the little flashback at the beginning of the episode. It's the only thing I've not liked in the season. I thought it was unnecessary and rocked the momentum a bit too much.
Yeah, that wasn't in the game, if I recall, right?
No, it wasn't. I mean, all those little flashbacks, none of them were in the game, but they've been really well sort of positioned. But this, I just felt like, yeah, if I was binging the series, I'd be like, oh, I hate this bit.
Right. Fair enough.
But I mean, I'm not gonna complain because it's been an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
even then, it's a niggle. It's not a complaint.
Do we know if there's a season 2 commissioned yet?
They said they were gonna only do the games, so
Okay.
I think they have commissioned season 2. And if people don't know the games, I have no idea how they're gonna cope with season 2.
Yeah, I haven't played the second one.
Oh,
actually.
really?
No.
Well,
lot to get through.
Shall say no more.
So I'll save that for when season 2 comes out. Also, you'll like this and then you'll dislike it.
Okay.
I recently listened to an episode of the little-known podcast Smartless,
Okay.
which Matthew doesn't know, judging by his face.
No, I don't actually.
Enormously
I completely
popular
missed this.
podcast with 3 big old Hollywood lads. Who is it? It's Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes from that sitcom in the 1990s.
Wow.
Will and Grace. He's in Will and Grace. It's a bit of a deep cut. I didn't have Will and Grace on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, they started a podcast during COVID, and I guess it's now probably one of the most popular podcasts in the world, judging by how it's been like swallowed up by a big
That's
podcast.
3 very
person.
funny men. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's just the 3 of them, and then they bring a guest on. One of them brings the guest. The other 2 don't know who the guest is. My point is this. On a recent episode, Jon Favreau was the guest.
Ah, nice.
I'm a big fan of his since back in the days of, Swingers and that. And he just talked he just seems like such a good dude, and also talked really in depth about learning about technology and stuff, and about how he had to learn loads of tech stuff to do Iron Man, and then like the Lion King, and then how they used the background stuff in the Mandalorian.
Oh, Mandalorian, yeah. Star Wars game changer.
Anyway, skip to the end. Very long intro of me saying it made me go, I should watch Mandalorian season 2. So I started watching it, and
Have you not done season 2 yet?
no, because I think I remember enjoying season 1 and then being like, I don't think I'm immediately desperate to watch season 2.
Season 2 is much better.
That's what I heard. And then I watched episode 1 and I was reminded, I think, why I wasn't like desperate to watch it, because it's just sort of like Monster of the Week.
It changes. It shifts very gradually. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I find this with a lot of TV now, which is TV has become such a streamlined cinematic experience. Even something as big, well-produced and beautiful as The Mandalorian, when you go back to that sort of 90s Creature of the Week format.
Yeah, it's that sort of serialized thing is where I'm like, I like these people, but not enough to be like, just hang out with them while he goes to a different planet and solves a different mystery there.
I quite like it for just tuning in when I can. It means
Right.
I'm not like just chewing it up. Because I haven't watched any of season 3 yet because I'm letting it build up.
Gotcha.
So I've got so many things on the go for the week at the moment. Like Succession just started.
Right.
Yellow Jackets just started.
Oh, boy.
Unbelievably, season 3 of Picard is incredible.
Oh, there's
if
no
you're-
chance I'm going to be watching
I
that.
know.
But I'm excited to hear that it's good.
It's incredible. If you're a TNG fan,
I think the problem for me there, I had just come off the back of Andor. So I was like, oh, Star Wars can be like very... what's the opposite of like serialized? Is serialized when it's a continuing story? Yes,
Yeah.
and that's not what I mean then, because Mandalorian felt, oh, he's just goes to a planet and then the dude from Justified is there.
I mean, Creature of the Week is the go-to term for
Yeah,
that, I think.
exactly. So it felt a bit like that, and I kind of wanted a bit more of a serialized plot like Andor, I think.
Andor was like so no fat, so lean.
Yeah.
It is weird. Like that, another reason why I'm giving it time, because yeah, Andor's like, again, no one wants all of Star Wars to be just Andor all the time.
That's true.
A little
yeah.
bit.
I think
yeah.
I'll dip in and out of Mandalorian season 2 when I'm just like in the mood for, just like a little light, fluffy thing, and there's some great monsters, and it's like Star Wars, isn't it? It's fun. It's fun to hang out.
We've talked about The Mandalorian for ages. Now.
Way too long.
We should do some trailers.
Let's get into some blinking trailers.
Blinking trailers.
For some reason, I made it PG rated, even though there's like 3 swears in the intro music. Okay, we got 4 trails to get through this week. I had to stop after 4. I think there was a few more, but I was like, we don't need
It's
any more.
Absolutely action season at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches. That dry spell we had there has been immediately wetted up. Feels horrible. That felt horrible.
The
Quickly.
wet season has begun.
Well, okay, good. That's a good segue actually into the monsoon season, which they have in India, which brings us to
Great.
our first trailer.
Great segue.
Thank you very much for a movie called Bola, which actually opened yesterday, I believe, and I did a
Yeah.
quick Google, and it is showing in Amsterdam this week. So
Ooh, we try and get on this. I'll have a look if it's in the UK.
I'm going to attempt to pass the reviews to find the reasonable ones that aren't sort of a lot of like people being overly excited, but in a way where you can't really measure if it's actually any good. Anyway, this is a remake of another Indian movie from a different region from a few years ago called Kaiti, I think, which has been on my list for ages. I haven't watched it. It looks like a mad mass entertainer that could go either way.
Bananas. There's definitely a trope in these big Indian action films where they love a motorbike wheel just going by someone's face. That is my takeaway now of Indian action
Who
cinema.
doesn't love that?
I like this. What's drawn me to this over anything we've seen like recently is I don't think I've seen one of these types of big Indian blockbuster actions with what looks like it's going to be a reasonable amount of gore. Like, it looks like it's going to be a bloody one. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of just interested from purely that to see how that works. There's a guy walking around with a trident.
He got a trident,
not-
yeah.
What's not to love?
Not explained.
He's killing people with a trident.
I don't think it's like superhero vibes, though. I think it's like he's a prisoner and he has to transport something, and then there's some baddies, and then he fights them. But where or how he gets a trident has lured me in.
It's very much, when I said that a minute ago, I just realised it's very Anchorman, just brick. I killed a man with a trident. They don't get that in. It's completely.
That is true.
But yeah, I'll give this a watch purely on. I want to see what this type of film is like when it goes up to sort of a red band area.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It kind of flits between, oh, this looks cool, and then, oh, this looks too CGI-y.
The more we watch these films, the more I love, like, there are certain tropes that will not quit. There's like the motorbike by the wheel by the face seems to happen a lot. There's always seems to be an old general who's kind of a ball buster, but probably all right because he's getting his ball busted as well. Yeah, just like love. There's all these. Just it's like the same film over and over.
I got the captain breathing down my neck. You guys gotta bring me results.
So I like it.
Anyway, well, maybe
it.
by next episode we'll have seen this, or at least have reported back on why we haven't, or I'll have seen it, and it will be 3 stars and not worthy of the title of the podcast. All right, let's move on. We got another one. I believe this is a movie, but it's on Netflix, so I wasn't 100% sure if it's a TV show or a movie. I'm thinking movie. It's out of Germany. It's called Blood and Gold, and this is the second movie that features Nazis and a quest for gold in as many months.
Trope. It's a common trope now.
Everyone loves Nazis and gold, and Indiana Jones is back, so what are you going to do?
I didn't understand, like, because I don't speak German.
Interesting.
The whole trailer, but I think I picked up on the phrase, where's the gold?
That's what they said, yes. They said, where's the gold, like 20 times in the trailer.
That's the whole trailer. So I'm getting the vibe of the film. I'm interested. I think it looks very pretty, and I think it's going to have a comedy, but quite a gritty tone. So
yes, it has a sort of slightly tongue-in-cheek vibe, doesn't it? And even just through the trailer edit being only those words repeated. But it looks like it's got some action in it, and I think that there's some connection, or the action is done by someone with good pedigree. That's the bullet points of that for me.
Very, very interested. We'll give it a watch. Come, we'll breeze through these.
Okay,
What's
breezing
next?
in next. Jesse V. Johnson is back. He has directed lots of good action films in the past. I think the last thing I saw of him was Hell Hath No Fury, which was okay, I thought. He's also directed a bunch of Scott Adkins stuff, which has been largely pretty good. That's why this features. It's called One Ranger, and it's got Thomas Jane, who I think at some point was quite a big name, but I feel like the whole A-list to however Z-list, D-list, whatever, like it's very blurry right now, isn't it? You get people who, a few years ago, Tom Jane was in like big cinema stuff. He was in HBO shows. And now, I mean, it's not just him. John Malkovich is in this. They're just popping up on what is definitely a direct to streaming.
I was going to say, they probably just, there's probably something about going straight to streaming which takes some studio pressure off, and I think actors like that, and I think if they've got a good director and they've got a good script attached, you never know how it's going to turn out, do you? But I think if something excites
and
them,
also if someone goes, do you want $1 million for 2 or 3 days work?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely instantly.
They probably go, yeah, go on then, what do I have to do?
The only phrase I have to learn in German is, where is the gold?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, in One Ranger, Thomas Jane plays some kind of southern sheriff who has to go to London for a reason. And then, oh boy, culture clash.
I like to think this is a remake of 2 of my favourite cultural touchstones, but set in London. It feels like Crocodile Dundee meets Due South, set in London.
Due South! Man, I used to love Due South. Remember, there were 2 different guys that played his friend. Yeah, they used to do that.
Same
on TV,
thing happened in the X-Files, kind of. I'm rewatching the X-Files.
Who got replaced in the X-Files?
There's a few seasons without Mulder. We don't have time to get into it.
Okay, we don't have time. Anyway, this looks like. I mean, I don't know what
you can't
to say
sum
about
it up
this.
better than how I just summed it up.
That's true. It's Due South for now. I mean, yeah,
Due
kinda.
South meets Crocodile Dundee, set in a Guy Ritchie world.
It is a bit, isn't it? It's like set in London, but there's quite a lot of people shooting guns around. So, and then Jesse V. Johnson can make action. He is also British, I think, but based in America.
The elevator pitch for this would have clearly been, like a sheriff revenge film, like a Western, set in metropolitan London.
Yeah.
It is that. That's
Fair
all
enough.
it is.
I'm
Yeah.
intrigued.
I'm going to watch it.
I'm intrigued.
Normally, you send me this sort of trailer and I go, ugh. But this, I was generally like, yeah, absolutely. Watch
It's got
this.
like a few things that piqued my interest. I think it's a fun premise, and Jesse V. Johnson could make it good.
If he doesn't find a horse for the end sequence.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Yeah.
I want a redux of True Lies through Pall Mall in London, or I'm out.
I want a gritty reboot of Due South.
Still due south. He's still on due
Yeah.
south. Fair enough.
If you've missed this cultural touchstone in your reference pool, generally go back, try and find a good copy of Due South. And honestly, I just remembered who his dad was. No spoilers, but
I don't
it's a
remember
big-
that. It's about a Mountie. That's what you need to know. It's a lovely TV show from the 2000s, early 2s.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't remember it was Leslie Nielsen.
Was it? Do you know what? That
Yeah.
popped into my head and I didn't say it. So what have we learned?
There we go. Last trailer.
This one is called Black Lotus, and it's notable for two reasons. One, that it is Dutch, or is at least set in Amsterdam.
When you wrote in the notes, Simon's sent me. He's put it's set in Amsterdam, and I can genuinely feel your excitement in that.
That's
sentence.
all. It's just like when you watch the trailer, I just go, oh, I recognise all that stuff. But this also ties into my previous point about A-list doesn't mean different things. I think I summed that up nicely, because old Grillo's back in this. And he is someone who has kind of run the gamut from big screen blockbusters through
Is he
to...
the guy who was in Captain America, Winter Soldier?
I believe he is in that movie, yes.
Yeah.
He's in loads
the
of stuff.
the baddie in this, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
he
this is set in
is.
Amsterdam. Also features Rico Verhoeven, which is a very Dutch name, who is a mega kickboxer. I think it's his first movie. So hopefully he's going to
kickboxer.
kick some people in it in a
Yeah.
cool way.
What a good segue, Simon,
Into what?
into kicking people. And just thinking how many kicks there were in our film. I'm getting excited about
That's
talking
it.
about
Okay.
John Wick.
You didn't even say anything about the trailer.
I don't think I need to. I think it looked fine. I think it looked absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing.
This-
It did nothing for me. This
No, I
trailer.
know. It's another one that could go either way, and
Yeah.
I will probably watch it just because it's fun to see things set in Amsterdam in the same way that it's fun to watch things set in London, where you don't usually see people getting kickboxed in movies set in Amsterdam. You don't usually see loads of machine guns in movies
Is that
set
the
in London.
verb for kickboxing?
Yeah, to kickbox.
To
He
kickbox.
was kickboxed.
Use it in a sentence.
Oh no! Did you hear about Jerry? He got in the ring and he got the shit kickboxed out of him.
Wow. Yeah, it works. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'll rest
I
my
like
case.
it.
I think it might be
like
time
it.
for me to press the button.
And now, our feature presentation.
Dodge this.
Okay, here we are. Without any further ado, apart from the previous 20 minutes of ado. Oh boy, it's time. It's John Wick. It's John Wick Chapter 4. Everybody's back. Chad's directing it. Keanu's kicking everyone. Fishburne is there. All the other people are there. Lovejoy's back. We've got Scott Adkins turning up. Marco Zaror is there. Donnie fucking Yen is in it.
Oh, you
I don't know where to start on this, but I'm just going to say this is where I'm setting my stall out. This is the most fun I have had in the cinema since RRR.
Okay.
I've said it.
Okay.
I was ready for this. I tried to not read much, but you see stuff, and I'd heard people already, and I was like, I don't want to get my expectations too high. I don't want to go in and be disappointed. And my expectations were a little bit high, but they were shit out of the water.
You sound so excited.
I think maybe it just was like the combination of so many things, and I just needed this. Also, I needed a cinema trip. Also, maybe there's a lot of the Simon's Letterboxd 2023 is only 3-star movies. So I was so ready for something that like just took everything to the next level. And I'm not saying it's a perfect film by any stretch, but I fucking loved it.
Yeah. Before we continue, though, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Is it an action film?
I would say it's a sports movie, technically.
I think it's a straight-up comedy a lot of the time.
That's true. That's true. To some degree, it is a Looney Tunes cartoon. But yeah, I think it's just the most action film, isn't it? It's like Chad Stahelski. No, I still don't know how to say it. Stahelski. Chad Stahelski, the director. Chad Stahelski.
Stahelski. It's got to be.
He started out as a stuntman, right? He's trained in martial arts and stuff. He was Keanu's stunt double on The Matrix. They've known each other for 25 years. Somewhere in his head is us nerds going, what would be fucking cool? And in each of these movies, he's just gone, what would be cool, and done it. And I think this one felt like, I mean, it probably won't be based on how successful it is, but like a swan song where they were like, you know what? We're doing everything in this movie. We're doing cars, guns, fists, the Holy Trinity of Dodge this.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely delivered on that. I mean, it's more like cars, guns, fists.
He loves it.
It just ticked all the boxes of everything that action nerd. I don't want to use the word nerd in a derogatory way. An action fan, someone who I'm mainly talking about
action enthusiast,
aficionado, loves, and they just do it. Do you like? It's like someone was like, right, you've got one more of these movies. Who do you want in it? And he was just like, everyone, get Donnie Yen in it, get Adkins in it, get Marco Zaror in it.
Yeah. He was kidding in a candy shop. He was like, who's free and who can it?
That is exactly it. And me watching it was exactly that.
It's also, it's really excited me in a few ways as well, because I feel like he also, because he works with Keanu forever, he's going to work with Keanu forever. But there's 2 projects he's doing that I'm really excited about. And I think there's people in this film that are probably to do with those other projects. So he's doing the new Highlander reboot.
Is he?
And obviously Clancy Brown's in this one, so he's obviously a big fan of the original Highlander, which makes me excited. And also, he's doing Ghost of Tsushima.
Is that the video game?
Yeah, which is incredible. And I don't know if he actually plays him in the video game, but what's he called? Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
I will be shocked if he isn't the main guy in Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah.
Didn't know both of those things, and that's both very exciting. He loves bloody swords, doesn't he? That's a lot of swords.
He seems to love cult action films, and he seems to love video games, because I think he's doing Rainbow Six as well.
What?
Which, if you see some of a lot of this film, a lot of John Wick 4, undeniably is like a video game, to the 100%. Point where it has Streets of Rage rules. Like, everybody, when they get a bit harder, they all have a uniform, so you go, okay, I know how much it takes to kill that type of baddie. Yes, you
know how much energy they have.
Yeah. And then there's a boss on every stage. It genuinely feels structured like a 5-level side-scrolling video game.
In fairness, so did John Wick 3 to some degree. Yeah. And I remember in conversations about John Wick 3, which I also loved, and I remember watching it here in Amsterdam in the cinema on my own that time. This time I went with friend of the show, Emil. Do you know how we like those little in the cinema recordings? Well, maybe I did one with me and Emil. In fact, why don't I drop it in for you now, Matthew, so you can put yourself in mind of me and Emil at the cinema. As you know, a lot of these I watch either on my own or in my lounge. There's a very rare treat where I get to watch them with you, and in your stead, often I will bring friend of the show, Emil.
We'll force him to go.
Anyway, I don't know if he enjoyed it as much as I did. I don't know if that was possible, but I forced him to leave us his thoughts as we were exiting the cinema, as is my wont. Here it is. Okay, I'm in the cinema in Amsterdam, and I'm joined by a friend of the show, Emile Strijkaboutier. We've just come out of John Wick. I'm still beaming ear to ear. It's fucking amazing. I mean, you say what you want, and I will, probably throughout the rest of the podcast, to Matthew. But Emile is here, and Emile, I just would love to hear your thoughts very briefly.
It's great, you know. They do all their work up in the beginning, and then they just start shooting for the next 2 hours, and it's awesome. That's the best thing. Like, literally, I haven't spent any time on dialogue or getting super witty. There's some poetic lines in there, don't get me wrong, but not Indian cinema levels of one-liners. But, you know, it gets the job done, and you get a lot of action in return for it. The amount of nut biting is just more than you think you would have seen in the movie.
We're going to go about the rest of our day now, but
Kinda. Yeah.
I'm so glad that we got to do this in person. It's always more fun in person.
So much more fun in person. And we got a good audience, too.
Very good. Also, we saw it in Dolby Cinema, so it was very loud and
Very loud.
very good quality
Does that
picture.
mean I'm getting old, Simon? That I'm now starting to complain about the
Now
volume?
you're in the right place. All right, back to everybody in the quote-unquote studio. I just remember thinking, John Wick 3, it's like at the beginning, you know, he's throwing knives at people, then he gets a bulletproof suit, and then the final level of John Wick 3 is all the baddies are in full body armor from head to toe, and you're like, holy shit, how's he gonna do? And then it's like mega headshots. This movie starts on veteran level. The first wave of baddies have got body armor and face mask armor. That's how it starts. He has to get his gun inside them or stab them in the throat. Oh, and then it just goes up and up. There was I think like the first 20 minutes before the first action scene, I think we will have to probably tap on a few spoilers throughout. So please, if you haven't watched the movie, you must go and see it. You must.
Unavoidable in this one.
I don't think like spoilers are going to ruin your enjoyment of the movie because it's, you know, visually incredible. That's what you will enjoy. But yeah, it starts, I don't want to say slow, but it kind of, I'm quite glad that it takes a while. Like, yes, he kills like 4 people in the first 2 minutes, but not in a John Wick way. I mean, he's on a horse, so whatever. It starts like Lawrence of Arabia, and then it kind of goes back to like, you know, modern John Wick world, and then it just takes a little while for the wheels to start turning. Quite this is a spoiler, but someone dies right at the beginning, and for the whole movie I was like, well, he can't be really dead, and then he was really dead.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
And also, like, really, that's really sad in like so many ways. Yeah, okay, this is now mega spoilers.
You're gonna, yeah.
But Lance Reddick, who plays, his character name is Sharon, I guess, but he's the concierge, right, at the hotel. And, you know, he died in real life recently, which is really sad. And so I guess this is possibly his last movie. And then, like, he's like the inciting incident almost of this movie because he gets killed right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And a part of me was like, well, John Wick got shot at the end of the last one and he managed. And in this world, when people get shot, I don't know. But yeah, he just dies.
Huge spoiler, but yeah, it happens very early. It gives it a lot of momentum. Yeah, but it was like sort of like, oh, fuck, because you want to see him growing into his own, but there was no other option in the scene that he is.
It's true. If you still want Ian McShane around. Also, there's one thing that, and it's sort of bittersweet because he's gone now, which is very sad. But if you have one of these parts in a movie where you're not in it as much as everyone maybe thinks, and you have to go to like the premiere and all that stuff, and he's like, you're in the photos and you're doing all the press, and then you're kind of like, oh, amazing, and then people sit down and they're like, oh, but but you were, but you were here at the premiere because you can't give it away. You know,
it's the old Drew Barrymore from Scream.
Yes, yeah,
I love that stuff, and it must be so exciting. Like I always think about like when a character dies in a TV show, and they're always like, suddenly once it's revealed, they're all like, "Yeah, I've known for months." I imagine that's quite an exciting when you're part of a franchise to know
that's
the
true.
impact of what you know. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
but yeah, he. To be fair, he was amazing in it, and he absolutely what a bloody turn.
R.I.P. Lance Reddick. We all loved The Wire. Also, back to we can't dwell sadly, but it's awful. It's awful. I was talking about the first 20 minutes or so of the movie. It takes its time. It isn't like as much as it knows what we want. It doesn't go minute 5. Everything's exploding. You know, it takes a while to build, and then oh my god, when the first sort of full on action scene in the Japanese hotel, I was just so happy. It just made me so happy. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's great.
You've got Marco Zaror just kicking everyone. He's enormous and incredible in this. Him and Hiroyuki Sanada going at it. Keanu's doing everything.
And then
also Rina Sawayama is shooting bows and arrows into everyone.
Yeah. And then my boy, arguably for me, the highlight of this entire film, Donnie Yen.
He fucking steals this movie.
Yeah. Just the way he plays everything. He does that, what I love about a lot of Hong Kong cinema. He plays it with that aloofness of like, he knows how good he is. Like there's a bit in the first action sequence where he's just eating noodles.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I love that like character beat of like everyone is going mental and he's just sat in the corner eating noodles. Like, let me know when shit hits the fan. Like, I think I'll be fine over here.
Yeah, it's just great. Donnie Yen though was, for me, everything about this film that I loved. Like, I'm so like, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but he gets such a good run at it. That he just absolutely smashes it. His character arc is great. His sort of everything that drives that character is great. The fact that it's clearly like got a lot of Zatoichi references in.
100%. Yeah. There was a part of me at the beginning where I was like, "Oh no, he's blind. But it's Donnie. How's he gonna fight everyone?" And then I was like, "Well, actually, he did quite well in Rogue One when he was blind. So he's pretty good at being a blind hard-ass." And like the obvious Zatoichi sort of vibes.
That's how good he is at that role as well. Because Katie's only really seen him in that and Rogue One. She had to ask me if he was actually
blind in real life. Yeah. Incredible scenes.
It's but he's so good in this,
and he does for all the. There's a lot of characters that maybe don't have the sort of depth that if you really wanted to get into it, like I would like to know a little bit more about, the tracker character. Like, what is that? What's his story? What is that in this world? But Donnie's character actually does get enough beats that you're like, okay, so he's like, everyone in the movie is like a different level bad guy, right? And so he's
Streets of Rage.
But in Streets of Rage, aren't you a good guy or are you also a bad guy? Like the player isn't a bad guy, right? Or are they?
Hey,
I don't know.
It's a more complicated game than you realise.
Hagar. Is Hagar in Streets of Rage? No, that's Final Fight. That's Final Fight. That's my bad. Anyway, so like you can kind of see like there's the real, bad guy, the Skarsgård, who has like no redeeming features bad guy. And then there's like John Wick. We already know about him. Like he tried to be a nice guy, but before that he was killing a lot of people. So he's not like a good guy. And then Donnie's like the high table have kind of trapped him into this deal, and he doesn't want to try and get John, but he has to because they're like his daughter is in peril. It's like it gives it a nice amount of nuance.
But he's John Wick from The Other Spin. Like if you are following Donnie Yen in this, John Wick's like the baddie. If you're following John Wick, Donnie Yen's the baddie. You understand instantly the balance between them. And again, having someone who is like the perfect balance for him to sort of drive through this film, it's just a really good way to keep it interesting. Like, because This film is 3 hours long.
It's not a short film.
2 hours of that is pure action, which
Yes.
when like to the point where, like you say, the Osaka hotel, the bloody hell, the whole remake of the Warriors in France. Like it's kind of like an hour remake of that film at points.
I know, right?
And like
you're sort of like, oh, this is a little cheeky reference, and you're like, this is not a cheeky reference. This is like fully like on the nose. Like no one's like, I wonder if they were referencing, you know?
Yeah. It's absolutely like the action just is. And I've never used this as a term, I don't think, before for action, but it's unrelenting. When a sequence gets moving, it's not like, I'm going to deal with this. This is like, okay, you're watching this in real time, and this is going to be a 30, 40-minute action sequence.
They all go on longer than I thought they would. Like, and I'm not saying...
And that isn't a criticism at all.
No.
That is like...
There's an argument that maybe you could have shaved a few minutes here or there, but there was no point where I was like, I wish this stopped. Because every time you think, well, I mean, I get it. You know, he judo throws the guy, he shoots him in the head. Then they do something else that makes you go, okay, all right.
Justified.
Yeah, I didn't think of it. That's fucking brilliant.
It's insane. And like, they just, what I love about this film, like, because there's always that film nerd in you that starts to break down if this was the real world. What I love about John Wick is they've just completely detached from the real world. There is like the biggest action sequence in Paris on is it the Arc de Triomphe they're round about?
Yeah.
And not a police siren in sight.
It's
no
true.
police interest. There's an incredible action sequence in a nightclub in Berlin.
No one bats an eyelid.
No one stops dancing.
No.
It's like a Street Fighter background. Everyone's just punching the air, like going, "You're going to move through this." Which again, this is a good time to talk about this because I know you're going to want to nerd out about that character and that sequence.
Scott Adkins.
It's your boy Scott Adkins given a role. Which, and again, I'm gonna keep using video game references because I do feel like it's heavily influenced on video game culture. But there's a bit in Scott Adkins, this sort of sequence where he does become a time crisis baddie, where he just picks up and runs, and it's like a cutscene between phases of a video game. It's incredible. But Scott Adkins in this film, oh my god! One, giving him that role was incredible. Two, how he delivered that role, absolutely incredible.
He's having the time of his life, isn't he?
He is loving it. He's so if you don't know who Scott Adkins is playing, he's essentially a German gangster, but they put him in it's a combination of a muscle and a fat suit.
Yeah.
So like it's like huge. I can't even imagine how much it weighs. And some of the fucking moves he's pulling.
Yes.
Like he's doing sort of like capoeira style moves. He's doing MMA moves. He's doing like these incredible like fly kicks, and it doesn't slow him down one bit. To the point where I want to see behind the scenes, see if there's wires involved because it doesn't feel like it.
Well, he said that the
incredible.
suit was not as heavy as you would think. So
really,
I think like wearing it for a whole day, it gets very heavy. But like in terms of him being able to like pull off his like, you know, reverse roundhouses and stuff and like head kicks, he wasn't too sort of hemmed in by it. And I think this is one of those things where we talked about like how the Warriors bit is like so obviously the Warriors bit. I think, and I'm not sure if I've heard it said or that Chad stylistically said it, but his character and the size of his character is like a little nod to Sammo Hung. Well, in like Enter the Dragon, right at the beginning when Sammo fights Bruce Lee and he's like, that guy's a bit tubby. And then he just like does backflips and you're like, whoa. But also in SPL where Sammo fights Donnie and Sammo is in like a really sharp tailored suit, not dissimilar to the one that Scott Adkins is wearing. And Sammo just goes absolutely Sammo crazy in that as well. So yeah. And it's just like one of those, it's almost like a Guy Ritchie character. It's just such a like, Scott, you're only in sort of like one scene, two scenes of this movie, but we're going to give you a fat suit, gold teeth, like loads of prosthetics, and also you're German. So
You're German and you love gambling.
just have at it, mate. Just go to town.
This is the weird thing about John Wick, especially like when you look at where John Wick started, which was a ridiculously fun film, but it's just his dog's killed, Baba Yaga, sort it out.
The scale.
The scale and the scope and the world building they've done in between is ridiculous, but it's like the scripting parts get in the way of the script sometimes. Like whenever there's dialogue, I'm like, it's obviously written so tongue in cheek, but I can't get my head around some sequences. Like Ian McShane's, anytime he talks, I'm like, this is ridiculous. like he's there for pure exposition in this old sort of gentlemanly world way, to the point where he says things I'm like, absolutely no human being would ever talk like that or say that. When Scott Adkins is talking and they give him this gambling thing, and it becomes like anime, like where every hand revealed, the odds of that hand being dealt for any of them is fundamental. But it's like, oh, so your hand is this good, but oh, here is another hand of cards that is better. And it just like,
so you've just loaded
so
that
ludicrous.
deck before you handed them out, surely, mate. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely, he's loaded that deck.
I want to kill you. You want to kill him. It's like a Bond villain, just chewing the scenery.
That's exactly what I thought. He had real Bond vibes. And again, given like that kid in a candy shop reference, it does feel like he has thrown everything he loves into this film. He's obviously, because it does feel like the end of the saga.
I hope it is.
I think it's a good place to end.
I know it won't be.
I mean, they're already setting up for spin-offs by the looks of things.
Yeah, spin-offs I'm okay with. You know, there's enough characters in this and the other movies, and God, I mean, it's like...
But they've world built so much, haven't they?
That's fine. I think I just don't need another Keanu-led John Wick. Also, Keanu's knocking on 60 these days. He has put in the work on these, and I think this would just be the go out on the top.
What's going to happen is it's going to do a load of spin-offs, and then it'll calm down. In 20 years, someone will say...
He'll be back.
No, but I reckon they'll, in about 20, 30 years, where the kids who love John Wick are now making films,
reboot.
I think someone will do The Night He Gets Free that's never seen. Like, because they always talk about it. It's almost guaranteed. Yeah. Some kid who loves action, grows up, gets a load of studio back in, gets the right.
I would say this would be us, but we'll all be the same age as Keanu is now.
We'll be
in 20 years. So
we'll be old.
We maybe won't be making that movie.
But
you're right. You're right.
I think that's the way it'll go. But I mean, like, the problem with this film now for us as a podcast is we could talk about this for triple the time the film actually takes. It's so packed, and there's so like every frame is lit beautifully.
That's the other thing, I think, isn't it, to talk about is you watch so many DTV movies, and even the greatest DTV movies that have like the great action and choreography, like the one thing they don't have is money. And with limited money, there's only so much you can do. And God bless, like, Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday, go to Malta, like, get free scenery, that sort of shit, like, make the most of that budget. And God knows some of these smaller budget movies do, but this is $100 million movie.
Yeah.
And like every dollar of that, like set design, production design,
just time
also
to go.
That,
we're on this one location for 3 days.
Yes.
So like, because that's the thing, like, it's ridiculous, but like, if that was a DTV, like, say the nightclub scene, there'd be one location, 2 days max, and then they'd just be like, we've got to get it. Whereas this, they probably spent 5 hours before any actors on set going, I want the light for this, I want the movement for this, and they've choreographed it, they've tracked it, they've dummy run it, like they've blocked it completely. There's not a bit of this film that isn't.
Yeah. If it's DTV, you don't get like 200 extras in the nightclub. You don't get them fighting in like a waterfall. Just it's that sort of like just the depth and the
even
cinematography and the lighting
the
is just
pre-production. Have you seen the video of Keanu learning nunchucks?
Yes. I watched everything available behind the scenes already. Like, I'm like, whenever the behind the scenes comes out, I need to see every behind the scenes of this.
I can't
Please
wait.
start releasing them soon. I need to see them.
I can't wait for the breakdowns of action scenes. Like, it is mind blowing how detailed it is. Like, in everything. Like, I joke about it feeling like you move through a video game level, but it's so mapped out. Like,
but I mean, it's unapologetic as well about that, I think.
I don't think it needs to apologize. I think it's beautifully done.
The creators would be like, yeah, it is a bit like that. You know, it's like Game of Death. You know, you go up a level, you get a different level baddie. You know, like this is the knives level. This is the guns level. This is the water, the slippy, slidey ice world platform reference level.
I mean, there's a sequence in this which absolutely stylistically stands out because it is such a decision to have this sequence in, but there's a one shot which is essentially a top down like shoot 'em up game, and it is the size of the set alone, like for this one sequence, is incredible, and the way they've made that. So this is a spoiler, but not a spoiler. At some point, John Wick gets a shotgun. You have seen about 20-30 minutes before a hit's been put. Like the bounty on John Wick's gone up. Everyone in the area is getting their shit together, and they just have about 2 seconds. They linger on a shotgun shell box, and it's called Dragon's Breath.
Yes,
and that's all you need to see. And you go, okay.
I think they do shoot one off, right? They like shoot it at a dummy or something, and you're like, oh boy, that's
exactly
tough. And I didn't, in my head, I didn't go, that they're setting something up there.
But they've set this up. Basically, he's found a way to make the shotgun blast in this incredible one shot, which goes on for a good 5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5 minutes. And they've basically made a way of doing this beautiful over the top shot and going, but you'll really see the visuals on this, like by making this in this sort of those Matrix sort of greens and blues that John Wick really lives in. They do exactly what John Wick does, photography wise. They find a way to put a color into it that changes the scene entirely. So they put this splash of orange and red amongst all these greens and blues, and just everything is pretty much bang center framed. Everything's got movement. Everything's got motion. The choreograph of that alone,
it's amazing.
To make it that slick, is just
like the combination of the sort of overhead shot. It put me in mind of the video game Hotline Miami, but
it's exactly Hotline Miami.
Also in my head, I was like, I have seen a video game that looks like, and there's a video game called Hong Kong Massacre that is.
You sent it me straight after.
Almost like Chad Stablablablibs has mentioned it in interviews that he's seen that video game, and it is almost like they've just made a real life version of it. It's so incredible the way you were like, how can we do this but make it cool? Like, oh, the shotguns have sparks, and it puts you in mind of like old John Woo movies with the practical effects and like just carnage, like destruction, flame sparks. And it's all just kind of in that beautiful, just like slow moving bird's eye view.
Just floats. Oh,
and it does look like a one-up. And I assume in my head, I was like, oh, probably each room was like stitched together to the next room, you know, like there's no way they would have done all of that in a one-up.
You think about it, because it's all one floor. I think if they've made that set, they've made that set.
It's possible that it is one set, but I imagine
there's definitely CGI and composite
for practicalities. Like they would cut, you know, as it scrolled, as it tracked into like the next room. That would be like a cut point, you know, so they didn't have to do all the squibs and the explosions and all that sort of shit. Either way, I watched that scene like with my jaw on the floor. It was already like at the point in the movie where loads of cool shit had happened. And I was like, I mean, I think we've done it. We've completed it now, haven't we? It must be the end. And I was like, I've just never seen this on screen before. And it's like blowing my mind how fucking cool it looks.
so slick. It's so slick. I think, again, we're probably going to have to start wrapping up soon. But you can tell already, like, we've not even scratched the surface. Like,
we should do a live audio commentary for 3 hours of the whole movie of just going like,
absolutely,
look at it! Look!
Yeah, I mean, man, we haven't even got into like Lawrence Fishburne being the guy in a video game who just turns up at every location at the beginning of a level
and goes, he's like the guy who sells you guns.
Exactly. He's like, whoa, have I got something for you?
What are you buying? What are you selling? Like that guy.
I'm playing Resident Evil 4 at the moment. It's the first one with the merchant in it. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Natalia Tena turns up in this film. She's incredible in that role.
Yeah.
Really menacing. Who else? I mean, there's so many cameos.
It is a stacked cast. Skarsgård. We haven't mentioned Bill Skarsgård, but
this is the one I wanted to devote time to because Bill Skarsgård is phenomenal in this film.
He's also having a ball, isn't he?
But I mean, he is brilliant in everything. Like, just, you know, from Pennywise to this, whatever he's doing behind the scenes to get him in a role, he completely becomes that character. I've never think I've watched a film where I've consciously gone, oh my God, his walking acting is incredible. Like, he's
a really good walker.
He uses his body in like such a weirdly menacing way. So like he knows how to sort of close in and open his body to sort of enunciate what his thoughts are. And the way that like they build his character arc. So like, again, like you said earlier, he is pure baddie, but to watch his confidence be shook gradually by the actions of John Wick.
Yeah.
He could play that in such a sort of cartoonish way, but he's just such an incredible actor. Like, it just lets it play out so subtly, and he's either just really natural at everything he does, or he's so conscious about all his body's movements. I think, again, him and Donnie Yen stole this film for performances.
Yeah, like, he is a menace in this movie, Skarsgård. Yeah. He's just like, you're like, well, he doesn't look very hard. He just looks one of those sort of like, you know, a rich, floppy body. And then there's that one bit where he like stabs a guy. Well, I'm not going to say any more, but it was like, oh, I hope they cut away. They didn't. The horrific part where you're like, oh, he is a nasty piece of work.
It's great.
And that also, that particular scene leads me on to the tracker character, Shamir Anderson. He's very good in this.
Yeah, he's very good in this.
You know, I had a lot of questions like what is this? It's just the lore, isn't it? It's the world building of like, oh, it reminded me a bit of, you know, in Blade, where the vampires have a familiar, or there's other characters that are like in the world of the vampires, but they're not vampires. Like these tracker characters, clearly he's just sort of like follows assassins around and like learns about the world.
But he's the again, it's all in the film, and again, he feels like he's very much set up for his own franchise.
100%.
But he's like these guys who are, you know, the absolute pros of their world, the Donnie Yens, the sort of Keanu Reeves, like these characters, Kane and John Wick, if you want the character names.
Thank you.
He is very much at the beginning of his journey, and he has none of the regret or or as they drill in these films, the consequences of their actions yet.
Yeah.
And his lessons throughout this, because they give enough. That's what I love. They don't slam everything in your face. They give enough for his character to give him an agenda. They give enough to make you feel like something else is going around him.
They give him a fucking cool dog.
They do give him a cool dog, which again, this film knows it's three previous films. There's enough little references to throw back to make this, if you watch all four back to back, because it is chapters, you have to think of it as one long film, essentially. I think it would just bleed together lovely. Like some of the little callbacks, payoffs. Yeah, his dog, obviously, given John Wick 1's the whole reason John Wick's doing this because of his dog. Like,
oh, that's right. Yeah, and there is that one moment where John Wick doesn't kill the dog, and you're like, we know why. We know why he doesn't.
It's not that he doesn't kill the dog. He doesn't kill the character because he sees the dog in danger.
Right.
He chooses to save the dog because obviously he failed his own dog.
I'm misremembering. I misremembered that. I remember there being the dog moment. I'm sure we're talking about the same moment.
Yeah, we are. And it's just after that big sequence. So
it's when the dog bites Marco Zaror in the dick for the 4th or 5th time, perhaps.
I can't remember. There's so many good bits.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to I think you can tell we enjoyed this film.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I don't want to say movie of the year already in March, but come at me with a better movie than John Wick 4.
Big fan of Alienoid.
That's true, actually. Oh, and wait, Mission Impossible 7 is out this year, isn't it? So,
do you have an action replay?
I got 2 action replay options for you. One is the entire scene that we talked about before with the fire breath shotgun, Hong Kong Massacre, Hotline
I think
Miami.
that's both of us, yeah.
Because that was just like, I can't wait to watch that scene again. And I just marveled at, this is an incredible action scene because it ticks so many boxes. And I just marveled at like the imagination and the cinematography and the way it's put together just technically was incredible. On a micro scale, there was a moment in the first action scene in the Japanese hotel where John, which we haven't talked about a lot, there was a lot of bow and arrows, and we didn't really mention Rina Sawayama, who is both British and ostensibly a pop star, but I think really does a great job of this movie, and will invariably get a spin-off, not least because of the post-credits stuff. Yeah. But there's a lot of people get shot with bow and arrows. There's one bit towards the sort of like an end beat or an end of that level within a level where John Wick finishes off one of the guys who are in all bulletproof, and it turns out he's already got an arrow through him, and his body just sort of like spins on the arrow, like a firework Catherine wheel that you've nailed to a fence. And it was like a chef's kiss moment where in the cinema, there's so many of those that are designed to make you laugh. Yeah. Like it's a movie that takes itself so seriously, but at the same time knows exactly what it is and has moments like that where you have to laugh. Moments where John Wick falls down the stairs like he's in an Eddie Murphy stand-up routine.
That's my action replay. That entire scene. I mean, I've already planned 1,000 videos for that scene alone. So this is a spoiler, but there's a sequence which is just like, again, symbolically, in terms of cinema language, John Wick has gone through hell, and the last phase of his journey is 200 plus stairs. It's pure, it's pure symbolism.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, he falls down, and it's hilarious. There's a bit with some steps at the very, very end. I really wish he just rolled down them just for comedy. I really just wanted it. But yeah, that entire sequence, for me, this is
it was
spoiler.
Such a bold choice, wasn't it? I think we're well out.
Funny.
The fact that they were just like, he's fought his way to the top of the stairs. He's reached his goal. And then someone just throws him and he tumbles down, not like a few stairs, the entire... It's a comedy moment. There's no other way of looking at it. It's like a cartoon and symbolically.
Yeah.
And then he has the all-star team up, and then him and Donnie Yen have to do the whole fucking stairs again.
Just watching those guys together was incredible. I mean, anytime Donnie Yen is in this film is an action replay for me. He literally, my micro action replay is just forgetting, even though I see it in every Donnie Yen film, whenever he does like a sequence of fast hands to someone's chest.
He's so fast.
It's insane how fast
like those Ip Man.
Yeah. Incredible. But yeah, that whole sequence for me was just
also
pure joy.
60 years old, Donnie Yen. Absolutely mind-blowing.
So we've said this when we watched Rage and Fire.
Rage and Fire. And well, he was like 58 in Rage and Fire, so by now he must be 60.
Crazy. But yeah, that was my entire action replay, the stairs. Beautiful.
Incredible.
Beautiful.
My action replay is this whole movie. It's there's so many moments that, and I will hear the argument if people go, it's too much. It's the same thing over and over again. But tell me another film where in John Wick 3, he used horses as a weapon.
Yeah.
In this film, he uses cars. He's not driving the car. People get thrown into and around. It's just, you've just never seen it before.
Those details are, again, I keep using the kid in a candy store, but Chad Stahelski, he's thought about this. So something they talked about in The Matrix, I remember Keanu Reeves talking about this, is he thinks about the physics of stuff. So if you watch how he flicks out certain cartridges from a gun, it's different for every gun, because he thinks about, he's so trained, this character, that every split second is potentially death for him. And he has thought to the point where every gun he gets, how he would reload that gun in a different way. Like whether he flicks out to the side, whether he drops it, when he's got a moment. There's a great little micro detail. There's a moment where he has a breather for a split second, pops out his gun cartridge, pushes his finger into it to see how many are left, and pops it back in because he knows it's worth keeping the cartridge. That's the detailing that they
Even
clearly
when it
got into.
Eventually runs out, he then uses the magazine to stab someone at one point.
Yeah, everything's a weapon. But yeah, it is pure escapism. It's absolutely pure, high octane, ridiculous. Like, you can't take it serious.
Of course you can't. But if you're going in to watch the 4th movie in the John Wick franchise,
imagine going in there.
I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes. There was like a review from The Telegraph of a guy gave it 1 star, and I was like, I mean, that's just bad journalism. Like, you can't. There's no world where you can give this movie 1 star.
From technicality alone. Like,
right. Even if you're like, oh, it's not really my sort of thing, well, then I don't know what. I mean, I guess you're a reviewer, maybe you're forced to watch it. I get that it's subjective, but at what point are you like, no, sorry, this is an objectively bad film, in spite of the fact that everyone else in the cinema was having the time of their lives?
Yeah. Right, I think we've said enough. I think we clearly love it.
Anyway, 3 stars, letterboxed.
Yeah, I think we said everything we need to say about this film, and absolutely nowhere near enough. But yeah,
it's going to be diminishing returns for the rest of season 2 until.
Oh, cheer up!
I just don't know how we're gonna. We might have to stop the podcast now. We just got to take a breather. I've got to reset. No, absolutely bloody loved it, and long may he reign.
Yeah.
All that remains is to follow us on all the socials. You can find Dodge This Pod on Twitter, along with Matthew and myself, Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
Please rate, please share.
Oh,
because, we love you guys, but we also want to grow. So, yeah.
And as ever, please send us suggestions of gems.
Oh, yeah, do.
Love to see those, because as well as the big boys coming through, we've got to keep peppering out the gems, and those are the real treasures. Anyway, it's been I want to say a long one. No, I think it's been an average one lengthwise. But John Wick 4 is incredible, and I loved it.
And yeah, and just because I've not said it all the way through, and it's my favorite thing about John Wick, Baba Yaga. Go see the Baba Yaga.
Good Baba Yaga.
There we go. Just fade there. No need
fade
for
out
more.
there. That's
Done.
just a quality ending.